morning, good afternoon, good evening. There are some things in life which people should not have to discuss or debate over and over again endlessly. I think the failure to accept that this is a historic fact, let's accept it, let's learn from it, is important. We tend to repeat the same mistake over and over again because we refuse to accept simple realities. On the screen, we've got this cartoon that has been circulating. In it, it depicts the situation that happened before the 2023 elections. Run up to the 2023 election, Chamisa was president of Triple C. He insisted that he would not have a structure, that he would not have a constitution, and he would not have any elected officials. People argued with him and said, well, that is wrong. And what happened soon after the elections is that an individual, Tabangu, emerged and he claimed that he was the secretary of the party and he was able to recall a number of Triple C leaders. Some would argue that it was he was working in conjunction with ZANU-PF. But you cannot also deny that he had left himself exposed to that kind of machination, political machination. And the consequences of that is what is depicted there. Savangu and his fellow, those he appointed into Parliament and the Senate, are now in the Senate. And Chamisa, and some of his own lieutenants, we had contested the elections, had won them, and were either recalled or some of them jumped before they were pushed, are no longer in Parliament. You try to say to the people, some of the hardcore Triple C supporters, Chamisa Chete supporters, that strategic ambiguity was a mistake. And they will not accept it. It doesn't make any sense at all. Ben.
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. You know, when I look at the whole Chamisa saga and how things developed, you know, my thought is there was never any strategy at all, except that let us go into an election, participate at all costs, and try and salvage something to keep everybody going. There was really never a plan to stop the rigging or any of that nonsense that he was speaking about. Because every time when I look, I mean, this whole week I've been just talking about just, the structure of a ZEC. It's not rocket science. That these are children of ZANU-PF top executives. Are they going to go against their family? Are they going to go against themselves? Because that is where their bread and butter is coming from. And when you look at that, who in their mind would actually think I can stop this rigging by having nobody know my strategy? Here we are. Nobody knew your strategy, but everybody took advantage of that strategy. So You know, it really puzzles me why some people are still adamant that Chamisa was keeping ZANU PF on their toes. The opposite was true. They were the ones that were trying to keep up with ZANU PF because ZANU PF had a strategy and they made it known. Where where was the plan? Where is the plan? You know, some blind loyalty sometimes, it's really sickening and it drags the whole nation down under with.
Well, in this instance, what we cannot deny is the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground is Triple C went into those elections with no strategy, with no party structure, constitution, or anything. The debate on whether or not they should have participated in those elections, we have discussed it on a number of occasions of this platform. But even if one was to accept the hardcore Chamisa Chete supporters' point of view that they achieved something by participating, what I find amazing is that now, soon after the elections, they found themselves being outwitted by Savangu. They cannot deny that Savangu outwitted them and that they now are the ones who are looking up the tree while the baboons are enjoying the fruits of being in parliament. For the ordinary people, for the ordinary person like me, the whole thing was an outrage because whether it's Savangu or the Chamisa Chete MPs who had participated and taken the oath of office, the damage was done at that point. They'd given ZANU-PF legitimacy. And for them to continue to deny that strategic ambiguity has backfired on them beggars belief. But it doesn't come as a surprise because those who are aware of the Zimbabwe politics will tell you that when Chamisa seized power following the death of the late Morgan Tsvangirai in 2018, people warned him that that move is unconstitutional by MDC's own constitution. And it will be very hard to defend. And that is exactly what happened. And true to their tradition, those Chamisa Chete supporters maintained throughout that Chamisa had done nothing wrong. I think it is that stubbornness, that willingness to look at facts and truth and reality and deal with it accordingly that has made the opposition so utterly useless to Zimbabwean people's aspiration for a democratic Zimbabwe, a well-governed Zimbabwe. And that to me is the number one issue here.
I mean, now you can see it's just a case of, a classic case of blame everybody around you but yourself. Chamisa has done nothing wrong. It was all on Chavangu who recalled, and like you said, and I totally agree. Chavangu happened after the effect was already done. Sadak had called a spade finally and condemned Zimbabwean elections. What was needed was for the opposition members to then solidify by showing their solidarity, towards SADC and not taking up positions. But you find that the opposite was true. While Sadak was condemning, they were busy, inaugurating themselves into these seats, making Sadak look very silly to say, why are you stopping a process that everybody is happy with? If you're saying they are, they were robbed, why are they, you know, taking up seats? You know, but the problem is, with all these facts, like you said, some guys just will not see, uh, you know, things as they are because of blind loyalty. They are so much engrossed in one particular person that they don't see anything wrong with whatever he touches and his surroundings. Yet this is why Zimbabwe is in a mess now. You know, you look at after they took the seats, the MPs themselves, what did SADC do? They backed off. What else did you want them to do? Here we are, we're standing by you, but you are standing with your enemy. You are taking up, proceeds of crime. It's going to take maybe a miracle sometimes, just to make you know headwinds with these guys. It's really, really very, very difficult.
Here is an illustration of the Chamisa Chete Chete brigade's mentality. They'll follow the leader blindly. There's no need for a picture, for a sound there. The story is told loudly and clearly. Some people will follow the leader blindly. I think this is what we are seeing in MDC Triple C. People have followed Chamisa blindly to the point where when he seized power in 2018 and people warned him that that was unconstitutional, they did not listen, he did not listen. When he failed to form structures, when he formed the new party Triple C, he did not listen to the warnings. And they, the followers, did not listen either. And yet they would not accept the consequences. In 2023, Chamisa lied to these people that he was going to win the elections, the 2023 elections. He even evoked the name of God. Hashtag God is in it. And it turned out that he was lying. He was conning them to participate in flawed elections to give ZANU-PF legitimacy. What is annoying is that the same people are refusing to accept that he lied. This is a big problem in the sense that they are refusing to accept that he lied because they believe that Chamisa is infallible. He's become a demigod to them. This is very dangerous because come 2028, it will be a day's work for him to tell his followers that I'm going to win the 2028 elections You should all participate. They will participate. ZANU-PF will rig the elections, and they would have given ZANU-PF legitimacy. And we are back to where we are today. This is a problem that we have got to reject. That is the argument. Thank you very much. Ben, do you want to give your closing remarks?
In closing, I would want to say it's going to be very difficult, to convince some people that, all along, the opposition has been playing both sides of the fences. They have been crying with us during the day and enjoying with ZANU PF, you know, in the night. And now, sometimes even during the day. As a country that is already, you know, falling apart, here are the MPs also, demanding for 2 cars worth $70,000, more housing allowance and loans and so forth. This, it's clear as daylight. But sometimes when somebody is so engrossed in one person or personality, it's very difficult. And I must say, it's going to be a very, very big battle just to convince these.
Thank you very much, Ben. So, in summary, I would really like to reiterate the point I've made before that people must learn to accept the truth, historic facts, because that is the only basis for sound decisions. Denying something just because you don't want to accept the consequences does not change anything. Denying that Chamisa Tavangu outwitted Chamisa is ridiculous because he did outwit him. Denying that Chamisa is a liar is foolish because Chamisa is a liar. He lied about plugging the vote rigging loopholes. And we cannot allow him to lie to the nation again come 2028. After 45 years of rigged elections, Zimbabwe cannot afford to have 48 years of rigged elections. We must learn from the past. We must learn to accept the truth. We must learn to accept when we've done something wrong. We must learn to accept that Chamisa is a mere mortal and not an infallible demigod. He is not just a mere mortal. He is corrupt, incompetent, and a liar. There is so much documentary evidence to support it. It is pathetic that anyone should refuse to accept that Chamisa is not a demigod, especially in this day and age. Zimbabwe cannot afford to participate in 2028 elections to give ZANU-PF legitimacy on the basis of another idiotic lie that Chamisa will win the flawed elections. That is my message. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.